guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am Anna and I'm a little bit spooky, and today we are doing some coffee and makeup time. So yeah, grab your coffee and let's get into this. So yeah, coffee makeup. Today we're just gonna talk about what is wrong with my hands. Yeah, I get into a little bit of about my condition or whatever you want to call it. We talk about that and just some other random stuff while we sit down and play with the She's in Parties palette from Melt, and we create this kind of corpse glam, if you will. Dead girl glam, I don't know. Some spooky bitch glam. We create this look, hang out, chit chat, and all that. So if you want to see how I got this look and hear a little bit about what is wrong with my hands and every other joint in my body, just go ahead and keep on watching. And before you do, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below any questions you may have about what we talk about in this video. Without further ado, let's get into the makeup. Okay, got you all zoomed in here. Let's get started on this look. I have already primed my eyes using the Milani eyeshadow primer, and just carved out my brows with some concealer and dusted a little bit of translucent powder. Anyway, I've not been putting concealer on my lids. I'm trying to get used to it. I need to find a primer that has a lot of good coverage in it. I think I'm gonna pick up the one from Sigma. Yeah, because I have a lot of like freckles and stuff on my lids and just pigmentation that bugs the shit out of me. But I'm also having a lot of issues with creasing because my lids are oily with concealer. Even when I'm layering with the primer and everything that I've been doing for a while and it was working, it's not working anymore. Oh, my chest just popped. That felt weird. Let's go ahead and get started playing with the She's in Parties palette. We're gonna go straight into Last Caress on a big fluffy brush. This is a Morphe M441, and we're just gonna start taking that through the transition area and crease area. Yeah, see, I already prefer having that little bit of translucent powder on the lid. It just makes blending smoother. I've tried recently just doing my eyeshadow without it, and I'm not loving it. It's just not it. But yeah, we are going pretty dark and smoky today, and so I'm just focusing this right into the crease socket area and letting it flow out and blend. Letting the brush do the work. As there's less pigment on the brush, I'm gonna start kind of blending it out. Okay, now that there's nothing left on the brush, I'm just gonna circular motion around and just make sure there's a nice blend and flow. Come back to the shade at some point in the look. Maybe I'm gonna take just a touch of Total Immortal just around this outer bit here, very light hand, just to create a little gradient. Not that you really see it, it just makes the blend look a little smoother. You know, I mean, it looks smooth, it's just enhance the transition, because you know I got this big ass brow bone. But I'm just gonna pull this up and out towards the tail of the brow. And again, there's not much pigment on my brush. A little bit more Total Immortal just on this outer part. And really blend that up to the tail. Really just like contouring the eye at this point. And I'm bringing it all the way like right here even. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a Morphe M443 and we're gonna jump into Last Caress once again, and we're gonna really kind of build up the pigment of that eyeshadow and deepen it up in here. This is a more concentrated brush. It's like flat than fluffy, and I think it does really well to just build pigment and blend at the same time. Look how much you can get out of that shade. Like, hell yeah. And I'm gonna turn the brush on the side and just kind of blend it out and follow the same shape we've been creating. While I got you here, I will kind of explain why I hold my brushes kind of odd. I have a joint condition called AMC. Do not ask me to pronounce what that stands for because I can't off the top of my head. I have to look at the word and kind of sound it out. But basically, I have from what I've gathered, a very mild case of this condition, but mine happens to be congenital and is essentially where your joints are not formed properly. They're either kind of fused together or they just didn't form at all hardly, and it can cause a lot of weird issues. It doesn't really progress and get worse the older you get. You may develop arthritis. Well, yeah, you will most likely develop arthritis a little bit earlier in life than you normally would. Like, I'm 33 and I've probably had arthritis pain since I was about 28. It's still gotten worse throughout my life. That's, you know, part of it, but it's more of a, you know, the way you're born is kind of how it's going to stay. I did a lot of physical therapy as a child, a lot of hospitals, a lot of scans, MRIs, CAT scans, bone scans, all that kind of fun stuff to kind of figure out what was going on, and I'll just show you. The easiest way I can show you is to show you my hand. As you see, this is me fully straightening out all my fingers as straight as they go, and yeah, that's what my hand looks like. I have little creepy hands and I don't have any joints in my thumb. Like, there's where the joint should be, but it is fully fused together. There's no mobility. I can do this and that's about it, and it's kind of limited. I have these joints right here in these 3 fingers, none up here at the top. I can, do that. I have these. My pinky has the joints in it, but they're very limited and fully paralyzed. I can't bend my pinky whatsoever. These have been like fused this way, so they have a curve in them. Both hands equally the same. This one may be a little bit worse than this one, but they're basically the same. The mobility is the same. Pinkies are basically paralyzed. Yeah, and all of the joints in my body are essentially like that. Like my elbow, for example, well, if I can get it in there, straight as my arm goes right there, it doesn't straighten out, and it's incredibly painful to try to straighten it. But I do have a little bit of arthritis in my hand, not as bad as was anticipated when I was a child. The arthritis and like joint pain I have is in my elbows and shoulders and kind of my neck, but some of that's just probably just from me, bad posture and stuff. Elbows tend to be my most painful part of my body as far as like arthritis goes, and of course the pain travels from my hands back and forth because it's all connected to the shoulder. It's worse on this side for some reason, my non-dominant side, than it is on my dominant side, but it's on both. I think it may have been because of an injury I had to the shoulder. But yeah, my feet are like that, my knees, my hips, my spine is not a happy camper. I have scoliosis. I have acute scoliosis in my spine, which is connected to this, where it's lower down and it curves a different way than normal, and it's right where like it would meet with my hips basically. So my hips are off center and tilted the wrong way, and my body kind of goes like this a little bit. I tend to lean a little more like to one side because of the curve of my spine, and that honestly actually didn't get diagnosed until I was 19, and it was such an odd thing to have not gotten diagnosed after all the doctors I had gone to since I was a baby. Basically, the scoliosis is the most debilitating part of everything. It does kind of hurt quality of life. I've had to walk with a cane before, depending. It's painful. It hurts to walk long distances, depending on how kind I am to my body as far as exercise, working out, taking care of myself. The pain is dramatically lessened, and if I keep my weight under control, that helps a lot because that's less stress on the spine. Really focusing on a lot of stretching and core workouts helps tremendously. Anything to build muscle in that area to take the pressure off the spine. I do have to be kind of careful how I work out because I can get injured more easily or in different ways than the average person can because of things like I can hurt my hands a little easier in odd ways just because they don't bend like they should and have that same kind of give like one's hand would. Like I can't straighten like my wrist, like I can't do that, like turn my arm flat to like get change from somebody. I drop everything. So it's always a bit of a burden, like checking out and paying cash and having to get change back. But I would say overall it's just a bunch of minor inconveniences. I've done more in my life than I was told I would ever be able to do when I was a kid. Why did I stop doing eyeshadow? Blending out Last Caress. But yeah, I was told I'd probably not be able to write. Walking would be iffy. I can't walk very well. Like I can walk, but you can tell that there is something slightly off with my gait isn't normal. Like I kind of waddle a little bit just because I'm very stiff and there's just not a lot of mobility in there. They said I wouldn't be able to write, do anything with my hands really. And yeah, that's obviously why I hold my brushes weird, because I can't do this. I can't turn my arm physically. Like if I do, I'm like contorting myself. So I just hold them like this and go in and it's fine. And when I'm working on clients though, it's easier. I can hold them normally. Yeah, I had adaptive PE. I did occupational therapy growing up. Simple stuff like tying a shoe repetitively, doing small things with my hands, picking up like marbles or coins and trying to dropping them just to kind of learn to do things without dropping them everywhere. And sometimes I do. It has caused me to be a little more clumsy in life, but in turn, my reflexes are insanely good. Like, I can catch anything about to fall because I'm so used to being so clumsy that I have very fast reflexes, like freakishly fast. I don't know why, but yeah, it definitely, I didn't do any sports in school. I wasn't encouraged to do anything like that. I was kind of set aside a lot in PE class because I wasn't athletic. I probably wouldn't have been anyway. No, I can't say that because I do enjoy sports, like to do sports. I don't like watching them, but when I was in my early 20s, on a whim, I joined a roller derby team and found that I could skate really well, and something that I could do that I never thought I would do. My mother would have killed me if she knew I was doing roller derby. Like, doing something like that and just saying that I did it and I was a ref for a roller derby team with everything that I had wrong with me. I'm all about overcoming, disabilities or physical limitations. I'm not one that's going to say I can't do that because I know my hands can't do that. No, it's more of a challenge to me. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do that and I'm going to master it. That's always been my goal. I just tend to have to adjust how I do things. I had this conversation with my boss when he was showing me how to use a swivel knife with leather. He showed me how to correctly hold it, and he's like, I'm never going to make fun of your hands. He's like, I'm not being mean, but I'm just saying you got to hold it like this. And I was explaining to him that sometimes I have to change, stuff to work with my hands. Like, I can't force them to do something. We were just having kind of a nice conversation about it. He's like, well, if you can do it and you make it work, more power to you, like, kind of thing. Do what you have to do. And that's basically how I've always been in life, is I've made modifications to things and the way I do things that a lot of times is not conscious that I'm doing it, but to achieve whatever goal I want, or just to do something even the smallest blending eyeshadow. Never held me back. I can paint, I can draw, I can write pretty decent handwriting. I had a very hard time with the handwriting thing. Like, that was one of the biggest hurdles in school, was my handwriting. So I had terrible handwriting and got in trouble a lot about it because they thought I was just being careless. Like, no, bitch, I can't, learning cursive was a bit of a struggle, but now I have pretty damn good cursive handwriting. It made things a little more complicated in life and a little bit slower to do something, but it's never stopped me. The average day, I don't even think about it. I don't wake up thinking, oh, you're disabled. You have something wrong with you. You have this, that. I don't even think about it anymore. It's just who I am, and it's not a conscious thing at the forefront of my mind. And again, it's never stopped me from anything, even with my back hurting and being sometimes to the point of brought to tears and pain. It's never stopped me from wanting to do something, even if it required walking and doing some physical. Like, I will power through because I want to enjoy my life. The pain aspect, it's a very claustrophobic feeling, if that makes sense. Like, you feel trapped in your body. It's so frustrating because it's like your body doesn't want to do something that you want to do. Like, walk a block in some cases. Like, I've had full-on just breakdowns before. I mean, there's times where you get so frustrated with it, you do lose your shit. And there's been moments that I've just... One particular one, we had to park a really, really long way away from where we needed to be at a festival. And I had to carry my purse and, like, my fold-up chair. And when my back starts hurting, it's not like an ache. It's my body kind of seizes. My legs will start shaking, and I feel like I'm gonna fall down. Like, it just gets where it just tenses up so bad. And I remember just feeling so trapped because the car was a couple miles away. I was still like blocks away from where I needed to be, and just felt so stuck. And I fully had a panic attack that day. I think that was one of the few times I've really let it get to me, but most of the time I just shut it down, sit down, rest for a minute, stretch my back out, get back to it. And yeah, I mean, it makes going shopping and stuff not the most fun, but it's still something I really enjoy doing. So I let it stop. I love to go to malls and go to stores and walk around. It's something I just really enjoy. Yeah, life would be easier if I had a walker I could roll in front of me and go, or use a mobility aid. Yeah, it probably would, but I don't feel like I'm there yet to need something. And if I can go about my life without a mobility aid, I'm gonna do it. It's not something that I don't think about. I've considered a lot, and say I have used mobility aids in the past. I'm not at that point to use one on a regular basis. And that means, I mean, it would obviously make life a lot easier. Like when I go to, say, grocery store, Walmart, I immediately get a buggy no matter what I'm getting because I use it as a mobility aid. Long story short, that's why I hold my brushes weird. I have AMC. If you have questions about that kind of stuff though, and like mobility and whatever, and just disability stuff, leave them down below. I am an open book about all that. I just forget to talk about it because it's not something I focus on. It really isn't. I don't let it define me by any means. It's a very small aspect of who I am. Has it helped me become who I am? Of course. I think it's given me some character. It's definitely given me a thick skin, you know, and but it's not my defining feature at all. And I'm not ashamed of it or anything like that. It's just, it's not important to me. It's not who I am. I'm not just a disability. It is a tiny aspect of me. It's how I look at it. And I just rather not focus on it, you know? I'd rather just be a happy person and live my life to the best I can. Okay, now I'm taking a little bit of Mean Streak just out here. Pat it right on this outer part of the lid and into here. This is a Morphe M56. But yeah, I wanted to mention that because I said something about my brushes, holding my brushes weird the other day. And I had been meaning to kind of talk about it, but I just kind of forgot. Like I said, it's not at the forefront of my mind. But I mean, I grew up this way, you know, I've had it my entire life. At a glance, I don't think people notice it terribly. The only people that have actually ever asked me any questions about were people who have worked in PT or, you know, physical therapy or in that kind of field where they know what to look for. That's the only people that have ever like brought it up to me. Every now and then somebody tells me my hands are cute or creepy, one of the two. So I have cute, creepy hands. And that doesn't bother me. Like I make jokes about my hands all the time. Because that's how I deal with things, is humor. I always say I've got little lobster hands. And it's whatever to me, it's not a big deal. And I'm incredibly lucky because I know that this condition can be incredibly disabling or incredibly debilitating and way, way worse than my case. Like I'm incredibly fortunate to have the mobility I do have and to be able to live a normal day-to-day life and not think about it. I am privileged in that way that it's not something that it has to be at the forefront of my mind. Because I definitely, it's not lost on me that it could be so much worse. So yeah, that's out the way. We've talked about it. Again, I'm open book about it. It's not that I don't want to talk about it. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything like that about disability or whatever, you can feel free to leave them in the comments below. I am happy to talk to you about it. It's, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, like I hate the phrase is what it is, but that's what it is. Like, and I do my best. I'm gonna do like a little half cut crease action now. And I'm just gonna do like really like a half cut crease. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do as far as cutting the crease. Yeah, Louisiana is, we're not going back to phase 1, but we're kind of somewhere in between phase 1 and phase 2. We're on a hiatus, I think is what they called it. We're gonna go with the shade Strange Love next on this flat fluffy brush. But bars have been closed back down. Restaurant capacity has been reduced once again back to like I think 25%, and masks are required for the next 2 weeks, I believe, if you ask me, for the foreseeable future. Statewide mandate on that because we had a spike this summer, which I think a lot of states are having. Texas, Florida, the South is basically just eat up with the Rona, back in lockdown basically, except retailers are open. This color is so pretty, by the way. Look at that, that's gorgeous on the lid. But we're gonna deepen up a little bit. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of Sleepwalk on that same brush and just gonna go in the center. And then on the outer part, I'm gonna take Lost Control. And let that kind of marry into Sleepwalk. I'm just gonna blend in those edges. I love these colors. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna take just a little bit more of Strange Love because I really want that to be the kind of the star of this look. Let that flow over into Sleepwalk. I'm gonna take a little more Last Caress and just kind of come around here. Oh yeah, and thank you everyone who sent all the well wishes for my dad. That really did mean a lot to me, and he is doing a hell of a lot better. So we got a new TV today, and it's freaking awesome. We got the Samsung Frame TV. Oh my god. Oh my god. Welcome to the 21st century. That TV is absolutely amazing. it displays artwork. It's so bougie and so ridiculous and such an unnecessary purchase that I bought one immediately. I feel kind of guilty about spending that much on TV, but damn it, I wanted it. Okay, I'm taking a pencil brush and just really focusing out here with loss control. I don't have any impulse control apparently. But I think I'm gonna actually use Mean Streak as my line on a liner brush. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do that now before I clean up the fallout, because I always get so much fallout when I do liner with eyeshadow. But yeah, just taking Mean Streak across the lash line for some definition. Yeah, I don't really think this look actually needs a wing because of the shape of the eyeshadow. So take that back. I'm just gonna use Mean Streak as some liner. Can you tell I don't really like eyeliner? I don't like doing eyeliner, let's put it that way. I like the way it looks, but I hate messing with it. I'm not an eyeliner stan. Okay, now let's clean up the spot. Yeah, look at that. Hell yeah. I'm in love with this. Alright, I'm gonna go off camera and do the rest of my face and all that jazz, and we'll be back for finishing touches and lower lash line in just a moment. Foundation is done, contour is done, all that jazz. Let's go ahead and go on to this lower lash line. First thing I'm gonna do is do a little liner right out here, just at that lash line on the outer part. This is a liner from Tarte. This is like super old. But it's called Midnight Plum, and it's just this beautiful blue base, dark aubergine shade. Like it would tie in so good with this. So I'm just gonna take that like right out here, just on this outer part, and kind of blend it up into that upper eyeshadow. And I'm just gonna get right up in there on that outer corner. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of Mean Streak just on the tip here, knock it off, and use that to blend that liner and soften it. And just make sure everything is flowing on the outer corner up into our little cat eye shape. As you know, we got fox eye. How about possum eye? That's my, I'm gonna do a video, call it possum eye makeup. I love possums, by the way. I think they're the cutest little things, and they're so misunderstood, and they're just sweet babies trying to help you out, and everybody thinks they're a vermin and a pest, and they're not. They eat mosquitoes, they eat bad insects, they don't carry rabies. They're just cute little sweethearts that want to help out in nature, and people want to be mean to them. I'm taking Last Caress now. I've spoken that out with the Morphe M456. You'd think I would have memorized these by now. I have not. I'm taking a Strange Love. Okay, I'm gonna take Skeleton Kiss now. I'm gonna put that on the inner corner. I've had too much coffee. This is my third cup of incredibly strong coffee that I made today, so I might be on one a little bit. Speaking of being on one, I miss Jenna Marbles. Okay, let's go into highlighter. I'm gonna use Blossom Glow from Wet n Wild. So hit right here, bring it up around a little onto that brow bone. I'm gonna take just a touch of that on the inner corner, just to brighten that up some. And okay, for blush, I'm gonna use this little Wet n Wild blush here. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Ombre Blush in a purple haze. I don't think these are available anymore. And I know it looks super bright on camera, but trust me, it's not. It's actually really pretty. It's surprising how pretty a lavender blush can look. Like, it doesn't look like clown makeup like I thought it would. And apply it kind of high and blend it into that highlighter. This is not a very pigmented blush, so I'm going a little heavy with it, heavy-handed. Oh, I'm gonna take just a little bit of this stuff, the highlighter Illuminatrance, whatever, from Wet n Wild. Illuminatrance is basically kind of a dupe for the Fenty, just a little creamier. And I'm just gonna put that just on these highest points and pat it on. I'm just really tapping it where the light naturally hits me. Okay, I've already lined my lips using the Essence lip liner. These are like $1.49. They're so good. But this is the shade Soft Bear. It's very dark mauve. And for the lips, I'm going to use a shade from the brand called Glips. This is a Colombian makeup brand, and they are a beautiful brand. And these are their matte lipsticks, which are absolutely amazing. And I'm going to apply this. This is the shade Cupcake. Alright, let me do some mascara and I'll be right. Okay, and we're back. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, I wanted to go on a little bit of gloss on top of this. I'm gonna take, this is from Wet n Wild from the Rebel Rose collection. This is the shade Bud Romance. Oh, Wet n Wild and their puns. Yeah. I'm gonna bring a little more lilac-y purple in here. And here's the look all complete. I curled my hair. I feel like getting a little fancy with the hair today. And yeah, it is a slightly different color. I put some pastel gray through it from Overtone just to kind of tone it a little bit. See what I did there? And I curled the ends. Like I put my hair in a really high ponytail and then just curled what stuck out. And it is quite an effective way to get some beachy, like just messy swamp witch curls, which is my vibe usually. This is the finished look using the She's in Parties palette from Milk Cosmetics, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite palettes ever. And yeah, I really like how this look came out. Listigante. I'm really into this cool tone, kind of purple, smoky vibe, kind of very ethereal, vampy, corpse-like look that we have going on today. And I am feeling it. And yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and listening to me ramble, having a cup of coffee, and talking about, unexpectedly, talking about disabilities and all that stuff. I wasn't planning on including all that, or going into that today. I was just gonna sit down and do a straight up tutorial, and it just kind of turned into a coffee and makeup time. But anyway, thank you for hanging out and listening to me ramble as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below any questions you may have about anything we talked about in this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay spooky and stay safe. Wear a mask. Bye now.